team won't cut it. We've got to do better.
It's not going well enough.
Are you glad you came back?
Yeah, I am glad. The wins aren't there.
They wrote me off, but I wrote back.
I never wrote back. Think about what's going to go wrong in your life, do you? Just think about how to make it go right.
Everybody's mouths aware. They have to be.
We don't want to be in the spot that we're in now.
I think some of the things are pretty obvious.
Yeah, we keep everything in-house.
Their defensive unit is the #1 unit in our division, offense or defense.
Score here would be tremendous.
Something's got to change.
I want things to be successful, however that looks.
You guys know this game it is never going to be about one person, and that includes me.
We won 3 games last year, won 4 games this year, so there's going to be those questions.
I mean, would you like to see him stick around?
Yeah, of course. Well, you want me to say no?
Half of us don't know if we're going to be here next year, you know what I'm saying?
I'm going to look forward to, playing under whoever it is.
We're all in this together.
That was nice.
Tanking or rebuilding, that's not me.
The final tailgate. Welcome on into the show. Paycor Stadium, the scene today in the Battle of Ohio. The Browns and Bengals put the foot to it at 1 o'clock. The kickoff countdown is right there in the corner of your screen. Bengals getting more than a touchdown if you're into the short-term financial markets. Mark Schwab, Reggie Langhorne, Josh Cribbs with you for the final tailgate of the year because there will not be any playoff editions. Gentlemen, there's a lot of ground to cover today. We're going to start with the bit of good news, which is Miles still going for history. We've talked about it a little bit now. I think a lot of us feel he will get it today because of his past success against the Bengals, so I'm not going to ask it that way to you. Does he get the I'm going to ask you this. If he gets it, the fact that he gets it in 17 games instead of 16, how does it change how that record is perceived in history?
I don't think it changes it. It just changes the conversation. I think Michael Strahan will have something to say about that. I think, in conversation between those guys in the inner circle, and fans of his will say, well, he didn't do it in 16, but the record will be an NFL record that he will possess if he makes another sack today. And that will be the end of the discussion. And not just because of the number, but because how good he is. I think it's no question that already you see him as one of the best. I mean, the record is just a cherry on top. It's like, okay, and statistically he has the sack record. But in my eyes, Browns fans' eyes, he doesn't really need the record for us to say that guy is one of the most special defenders of all time, period.
I like what Josh said, and yes, I think it's good to be able to get the record. I, like so many other Browns fans, wish it would have taken place in the last 2 games, and it didn't happen just to avoid this type of conversation down the road. But I noticed that over the last 5 or 6 years, when even folks talk about that record, Al Bubba Baker had 23, I believe, before they even kept a count of sacks, and they went back and saw that. So he actually is the unofficial sack leader. Then you have Strahan and J.T. Watt. But what Miles did this year is phenomenal. I mean, there's not many years you're going to get 5 sacks in a game or 4 sacks. Yeah. That is pretty big time. So I hope it doesn't infect the way people feel about him, like he didn't do it in the same amount of games, because what he's done is still very special.
I like how you brought up Al Bubba Baker on that. See, you got real history because you've been around with those guys. Now, I didn't say that.
That's what you're saying, brother.
But no, I like that analogy you had before that stats was out there. However, when we talk about a guy like Miles, I continue to say, when you mention the greats like LT, Reggie Wayne, these guys were sometimes double teamed and they made single blocking a nightmare, and they kind of embarrassed whoever their opponent was. Mm-hmm. But not 3 guys, not garnering the attention that a team like the Steelers will lack in offense because they're making sure that this guy doesn't make the record. And I think, Myles Garrett, it was some truth to that. I think the Steelers changed their whole game plan to their detriment. That I didn't see an offense like that before. And I think Rodgers was rattled. He was concerned that I'm not going to be on your highlights. So he got rid of the ball a lot when he wasn't supposed to, or prematurely to not let him get that sack. And maybe the Bengals follow suit today. I mean, I don't know. And Myles Garrett has had a lot of success with that, but offensive coordinators don't want to have him have the record against them. So we'll see.
Well, and Joe Burrow said this week, I'm not going to try to help get him the record where
gonna
you know
play
the kneel
ball.
down. But he also said, "I'm not going to prioritize making sure he doesn't get it."
Right.
To Josh's point,
exactly.
that's what the Steelers did. Rodgers looked ridiculous at times, seemingly frantically afraid of this record. That is the shot from Cincinnati. Blue skies. It'll be chilly, but no rain, no weather problems in this one. Tailgate is off and running. When we come back, where do the Browns go from here with Deshaun Watson? Because that contract ain't leaving. Sticking around.
Now, Bench Strength, sponsored by Wayside Furniture.
All right, Deshaun Watson has obviously got a lot of talk over the years since the trade and the results and how it hasn't worked out. And yes, it is still worth discussing right now because as we head into an offseason where the Browns will have a high draft pick, and we'll talk about should they draft a guy, and we'll talk about should they hand it over to Shedeur and give him a shot, we also have to talk about that guy because the contract goes on for one more year. The cap hit, depending on how you slice it, looks to be at least $80 million to move on from him. You just can't cut him. You just can't trade him. There are significant financial penalties for doing it. How should the Browns proceed with that quarterback?
I don't think they're in a bad situation as it relates to the quarterback room because he is a valuable quarterback that can step in. If Shedeur is named as QB1, Deshaun should be his backup, period. He's worth too much to just say, with $80 million. And he has value. He can come in as a backup. He can be the starter. In a lot of circles, regardless of how you feel, he's still the best quarterback on the roster. And you got to pay him $80 million. So when you're looking at what's in the draft, and I know people are getting excited about Indiana's quarterback, I'm not a big fan of getting a quarter. We just haven't done well with that.
Right.
As it relates to first-round draft picks and quarterbacks. You might have him in the building. He might need another year to develop. Deshaun is the perfect stopgap for that, for him to completely grow. Or you just give him an off season and a training camp and preseason and let Shedeur fly and have Deshaun be his backup. I mean, that's the simple answer for me.
So Josh is 2-0 for the day. I mean, that's kind of the same thing. I want you doing good, brother. So I think Shedeur can carry the load. Of course, he didn't get the full recognition during training camp, and there's some things that we could do to make him not throw those bad interceptions. But as far as Deshaun it's a tough call, but he's on the payroll. Why not get what you can get out of him? I mean, it's kind of foolish to think you're going to get one of these young quarterbacks and then have 3 quarterbacks, 2 second-year guys and a rookie, and going through this same quarterback mess again. So I say we ride with Shedeur, give him all the tools, give him an offensive line, give him some extra receivers, and let Deshaun be the number 2 guy, unless Deshaun just plays lights out or he just looks so good that you have to let him start. But, yeah, you can't throw it away, and I know a lot of fans hate it, and I get it. But at the same time, it's business. So we got to put our emotions aside, and let's see what happens in this offseason.
Yeah, I won't be surprised if Deshaun gets most of preseason. And you see sprinkles of Shedeur in there if he's the starter. Because if there may be a team out there like, man, we got to pull the trigger on Deshaun. We need a quarterback. A team may pull the trigger in the last year of his contract, understanding that what they need in a guy, he may be it, barring another year passes and people are, far removed from his off-the-field situations.
And we don't know. If by chance Coach Stefanski gets fired and the new offensive coordinator, the new quarterback guy, if they don't reveal some things that Stefanski was incapable of revealing.
That's a fair – could somebody – I hate to use the word unlock, but he has been seemingly locked because the guy we saw in Houston is not the guy we had so far in Cleveland. Tailgate continues. Should they end it with Wyatt Teller? I don't know why you bring him back at this point.
Last time we've seen him play.
We'll talk about it next.
All right.
Yeah, name a level, Mary Kay, and the answer is yes. I mean, he's an all-pro. He looks like the other all-pros out there. And for him to do it as a rookie in the middle of this defense has been incredible. If it sounds like I'm stumping for him, I am. All-Pro, yes. Whatever else award you want to give him, yes.
The Injury Report, sponsored by the man that makes them pay, Tim Misney.
All right, so that was him talking about Carson Schwessinger, who has been amazing. He is also out, not going to finish his rookie year. A lot of people feel like he still has a pretty good shot to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. We shall see. One guy that we've seen hurt at times and rotation at times is Wyatt Teller. It was not long ago Wyatt Teller was considered one of the best guards in football. Extremely physical. You know, the guy you wanted to run behind. He would just ragdoll an interior defensive lineman. Then he went into this weird rotation with Tevin Jenkins. Now he's hurt. The Browns have a lot of free agency coming up on the offensive line. The entire interior part of their line is up. Is this a guy they should move on from? Considering they have so many other holes to fill, do they need to create another one there?
Is he in a contract year?
Yeah, he's up after this year.
So, I mean, but the thing is, I don't know if I want to lose everybody that we have now. I mean, you're going to lose. I mean, you really don't have any linemen after Batonio probably retires and everybody else is hurt. So we are going to need 5, 6, 7 new offensive linemen. I wouldn't want to get rid of all of them, but at some point, how much money you're willing to pay him if he's not consistent. So a contract that is incentive friendly, if he wants to stay here, I think would be the right move. But we've got to figure out who's going to be the guy picking the players for the system that we're going to be trying to run. But you know this for a fact. We've got to get somebody to protect the quarterback, and we've got to get somebody that can run block because we need to be able to run the football no matter what happens.
I see what you keep alluding to there. For me, you know, with coaching and possible coaching change, but for me, as it relates to Wyatt Teller, they're going to look at the market. They'll probably let him hit the open market to see, you know, what the buzz is. A team may want or need him even more and don't have the reality of the injury being injury prone. We have that reality. We understand how his makeup is. We have his medical records. We see him, right? So if we could possibly get him for cheap or lower than a big payday, they may retain him after letting him hit the open market.
All right, this is shifting gears a little bit to another guy who's up and has at times been disappointing. David Njoku. This is Kevin Stefanski earlier in the week on their tight end.
Yeah, I think you guys have talked to Dave over the years, and he and I have a very unique relationship. He thinks I didn't like him when I first got here, which is not true. I just told him the truth, and he didn't like that.
Okay, because remember at one point Njoku requested a trade.
Yes.
Walked it back. Now says he loves it here. I've said before I hope they keep him. But to you guys, have you ever had a coach along the way that said something to you that you probably needed to hear, but you didn't receive it well, and in that moment didn't like that coach?
Any ball player, and actually even businessman, everyone who's got someone, a mentor or someone who leads, if they're not telling you something that actually hits you in the gut to make you work harder, be more aggressive, whatever the case may be, you're not perfect. And if you can't take criticism, shame on you. But obviously it worked out. He actually heard what he said down the road, but immediately, none of us want to be criticized too firmly. And the big thing with football players, if you do take a look at yourself, do some soul searching and get better, and David Njoku got better, got a big contract, and I think he's an excellent plus for this football team. But I tell you what, he didn't get a lot of shots this year. And Mr. Fanning has done a pretty good job playing tight end here. But there's nothing wrong with having 2 good tight ends.
That's my point. You know, I've always been an advocate of using it's like another wide receiver. You know, when you look at him, have another good wide receiver.
Yep.
But as it relates to a coach told me one time after I scored my first NFL touchdown and was riding high, he passed me in the building. He said, "Is that it? That's all you got?"
That's what they do.
And that made me want to keep scoring even more.
There you go.
I thought I was home free, but I wasn't.
Don't get comfortable.
Right. The big leagues, mama.
Exactly.
When we come back, will the Browns fire Kevin Stefanski? The question is not should they. Will they actually pull the trigger and do it? We'll talk about it next.
Now the Pigskin Poll, sponsored by your Northern Ohio Hyundai dealers.
All right, we do this every week. We take a question, we put it on the news, we ask the folks to go and vote, and this is the final one of the year. Hyundai Pigskin Poll, will the Browns fire Stefanski after the season? The operative word is will, because everyone will say they should. Yeah, we know. But will they actually do it? Guys, what do you think?
I think they already have. I think that process has taken place. I think when you turn over the play calling 2 years in a row, I think the inability to do things the way he wants is almost like he's been forced to do things that goes against the grain. And it may not be the Browns firing him as it may be as much as him wanting to get out of this situation. I don't see or foresee anything getting better with Coach Stefanski here. And I think it may be time to part ways. We need to look at a new direction. He's had 6 years. The last 2 years, we've only got 7 wins up to now. So I think it just may be time for a new look around here. We need a teaching coach. We've got a lot of young players, and I think we need some folks that can get them to elevate themselves, which I've not seen a lot of players becoming extra special when they get here. But we had a heck of a draft class this year. 4 rookie starters is a real big deal.
Be that as it may, you know, I go with the latter only because he may want out. He may not be, you know, I agree with that part of it. He may want to be out, and he's may have already entertained other opportunities, even to be a head coach. You know, so we have to look at it as, does he want to stay here? Because he was given players, and maybe there's a disconnect between the players that they want and if they pan out. And that's not always necessarily on the head coach. However, I know there's a lot of animosity about how he's coached over the years and only having those 2 good years, which he did get, you know, Coach of the Year twice, that people just overlooking. I get it. It's recency bias. I get it. But he has value in the NFL outside of Cleveland. Cleveland is one of the toughest places to coach and to start your coaching career. So if we're not getting a veteran, we're going to get another guy that if he makes a few mistakes, everybody's going to be calling his head. So I'll say no. He would. I'll say to the poll question, no. However, he may want out, and that will change everything.
Let's take a look at the results. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little surprised here, because the reason I'm surprised is this indicates that Browns fans have confidence in ownership to do what they feel is the right thing.
You didn't word the question like that. That changes it.
Yeah, but that's the question, and that's 1,300 votes. That's over 1,000
No, you're
votes.
making an inference.
But it is
that answer means that our fan base
I can assure you they do not have confidence in the organization at all.
I meant in this one decision.
No.
You don't, because to me that says the fans at least think
our fans don't want Kevin Stefanski as their coach, and overwhelmingly people will say, "Oh, they need to get rid of the coach," and without a lot of validity behind it, simply because wins, simply because the eye test, he doesn't pass the eye test.
Lose too much.
And, yes, and it's just that simple. We're the most losingest franchise. That's a fact.
Yep.
And it, again, it's tough to play here in Cleveland. However, I hate the heat that Haslam has gotten. He's done a lot to try to help us win.
How about Eric Metcalf, who wants to help? He tweeted it out. We asked him about this a couple of weeks ago. There's the hat. Hashtag Mbaga. Make the Browns great again.
He made that statement. Mbaga. And it's been catchy. Mbaga. Make Browns
There's
great
a Reg.
again.
If you were here when they won a lot, if they called you, would you have things to say to him?
Who, Metcalf?
No, the
we're in
Browns.
the office.
Met wants the call. Do you want the call?
I'm not wanting to get involved with the organization. I like the world I have around here now. I think that Matt and also Josh are good, talented guys that played here. The thing is, I don't think we've had but one person to ever really be involved with the organization since they've been back 26, 27 years. They find people elsewhere. They find players elsewhere. They've never been too invested in the alumni department as far as one of us being a part of the football program. But, that's Josh will speak more on it. I'm sure you tried, didn't you, Josh?
I tried. I will keep trying. I tell you that.
I said it was a blue sky in Cincinnati earlier, and Reg yelled at me. That's blue. That's as blue as you get for a January Ohio
with
sky.
A hint of blue.
Blue is Carolina blue. That right there.
We don't have that here.
That's an Ole Miss
in the
haze.
That's an Ohio blue for January.
The misty gray family.
That's a haze.
Oh, my goodness. When we come back, who's the best team in the AFC? And are you even going to watch for Steelers-Ravens tonight? Stick around.
You see my career, I don't have a lot of stinkers back-to-back over the years. I'm 42 years old, and I'm on a one-year deal, so you know what the situation is. Whenever the season ends, I'll be a free agent. So that'll give me a lot of options. If I still want to play, I mean, a lot of options, but there'll be options, I would think, maybe one or two.
Around the AFC, sponsored by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
All right, so we're going to start with the matchup tonight. That's Rodgers. This could be his potentially one of his last games or his last few games, certainly in Pittsburgh.
I had enough.
You're done. You're done. So I'm going to start here, though. Those two play tonight for the division title. Are you guys even going to watch? Frankly, I don't think we can stand either team. I don't know about you guys.
I watch because I like watching football on Sunday nights, Monday nights, Thursday nights, Saturday afternoon, and it's just what I do. But I think Pittsburgh is going to get challenged by Baltimore in a big way tonight. I think Pittsburgh usually handles Baltimore pretty good, but I think there's something that's going to happen in Baltimore and their football team tonight. They're going to beat up on Pittsburgh.
I just don't want to count Tomlin and the boys out. You know, that'd be.
DJ Metcalf is a big deal, not playing.
Yeah, but they're preparing for it.
Well, that's like they prepared here?
Well, they don't have Baltimore don't have a Myles Garrett. They don't have a demigod that they have to prepare for. So now all of the other things.
He did. Well, I believe he just referred to him as roughly an Avenger.
That means,
yeah.
Okay.
Well, he's an extra human, extraordinary guy out there on the field playing. But they don't have that. Yeah. So their offensive game plan won't be centered around one guy trying to, stop them from creating a record. So you expect to see a boost from the Steelers offense. And I just don't want to count. I think Baltimore will win, but don't count the Steelers out.
It sounds like there are some people also questioning the future of John Harbaugh in Baltimore. There's a little bit of traction there. Who you guys feel is the best team in the AFC right now?
The Cleveland Browns.
Oh, my goodness. Joshua.
I just can't help myself.
You got Denver, Jacksonville, and New England.
Those are the big three.
New England, I would say, because they're solid defense and they got more explosive offense. But we haven't seen enough of Jacksonville, but they keep winning games. Have they won 11 already? Or 12?
Yeah, 11.
I mean, that's a big jump.
Wow.
That's a big deal for Jacksonville. We don't see them that much, so I don't know. But I know New England seems very solid.
I think the NFL is scared to flex their games, Jacksonville, because I haven't seen a lot of them on TV. But yet they won 12 games and out of nowhere, sneaky. The best team for me will be Buffalo. I think they're the team that it's time for them with Kansas City not being in there. It's their time. If they can't get it now, if not now, then when for them?
I think Buffalo falls short. I think these young guys take Allen out. I don't think that Buffalo has a passing attack the way they thought they should. Yeah, I think New England can beat them. I think Denver can beat them.
It's enough for what they have a running attack. He can hand the ball off to Cook all day long.
He can play.
And he can go.
Yeah.
I want to shift gears because we've been obviously talking a lot about Kevin Stefanski and his future. Say the Browns move on from him. What should happen to that guy, Jim Schwartz?
Make him my head coach.
Just make him the head coach.
Get him to bring in some of his older cronies that teach the game of football. To get all these young people we're going to have to help them to get elevated to another year, to another level, I guess we'll say, of competition. I like him. I like what he's done here. I think he will be a good, stable person to bring in. And some new young guy with new ideas and all this stuff. But I like to have a coach that has the power to make his decisions on his players, to not be pushed around. I don't know what happened when Baker played hurt. And I didn't understand it, didn't like it, all the Baker stuff, and then the Deshaun stuff, and all these different things, giving up play calling. Somebody's telling our head coach what to do, and yet you say he was two-year coach of the year. All these different things I think that you should be able to say as a head coach, no, that's not what I want to do in my system. Schwartz, I think, is a guy that can do that. But I'm going to bring in some older guys that have the ability to teach some of my new guys.
Let me say this. I like Schwartz. Mm-hmm. It might be time. If that comes up and is available for him to have the interview as the head coach, I think they should give him the interview. I think it's not a bad transition for him to move in as a head coach here for the Cleveland Browns. He knows us. He's been here. It may be time for him if the opportunity happens.
There is no one out there that I can say, yeah, we got to get him. Right. There is no one that I would say that.
There's no riser in the coaching ranks, so to speak. Browns and Bengals, Battle of Ohio, an hour and a half away. When we come back, who is the NFL MVP? Who is the coach of the year? I know who it's not. Stick around.
Hey, Nick, I'm kind of hungry. What do you need? I don't know, just something to eat. You want some nuts or like a waffle? Okay, yeah, I'll be right back. Jesus. I thought we'll bear everything. That's all I need. Okay. Got some crumbs on me. Some crumbs. I had a little waffle. You got some here too. On the other side. I got you. No, onions. Down? Onions. Let on my cheek? Yeah. Oh, you're on TV.
Now the Quick Picks, sponsored by your local Kia dealers.
I find Joe Burrow immensely entertaining. I need a waffle. Why a waffle? All right. Well, let's talk about some of the end of season awards. Most valuable player, coach of the year. We know Stefanski is not coach of the year. We know the Browns don't have an MVP in this group. But who do you guys think wins the NFL most valuable player? Many would say it's who's the most valuable quarterback.
Yeah, it's been that for a long time when you go off quarterback. You know, the most dominant, has showcased so much talent. I don't know who it is. You can kind of give it to whoever. It's game by game almost, and you got to go back to look at the what they've done throughout the year. I have no idea who I would say, because whoever it is, somebody has an opportunity to say the opposite, or someone else. You know, I
hear Drake May's name tossed around a lot, and it makes sense because they won a lot of games. But as crazy as it may be, Sam Darnold up in Seattle, he's won 14 games this year.
Yeah.
And he won 14 games last year with Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So he's not a guy that anyone will probably pick. But when you talk about what is your record, what have you done, how have you played, he's got to be a guy that at least someone's got to consider.
But when you look at those two, they're coached well.
Right.
They're not doing anything extraordinary, taking off running and making just the impossible happen. They're coached well. They're winning. Vrabel is doing a great job with the Patriots. Mm-hmm. So and has May managing the game. I mean, he's not doing extraordinary things. He's throwing for significantly a lot, but not making a ton of mistakes. It's just when you think of MVP, you think of overcoming so many odds and everything. I think everything is moving in their favor as it should for those guys.
All right, so Coach of the Year. This is a guy people will talk about. Vrabel. Where are you guys at on this award? You know, Sean Payton, Ben Johnson, guys like that in the running.
I am on the track with Vrabel being in the running, because look at the night and day how he's turned the franchise back around, right? These guys haven't been in contention since Belichick's great years with Tom Brady. They haven't been in contention. They've had glimpses throughout the season, and then they fizzle out. But these guys are an actual force now under May. And this is why I say they're a decent football team. For me, it's not just May, it's the coach. With a different head coach, I don't think May succeeds the way he does.
Well, you got Chicago's coach and Ben Johnson, but I go back to Seattle. I think that what they've done out there, and that head coach has done a heck of a job. Also, there's another one I can't think of his name. Dan Quinn. He's in Washington. No, it
not
just slipped
Dan
my
Quinn.
mind.
Lions.
Oh, Campbell.
Campbell.
Well, they've taken a step back since Ben Johnson left.
I just slipped my mind. I can't think who it is. No. But, yeah, the Seattle head coach, I think that he's done a great job. Seattle, to me, is probably one of the best talented, without the names on the back of the jersey, but they play well together. They run the football. They're very confident with Donald. We don't know what will happen to him once he gets in the playoffs, because that was a problem with him in Minnesota last year, but they've played great football out of Seattle.
I like the team overcoming a team from nothing one year and a team going from nothing to something.
I'm not a big fan of him, but I will like the coach from Jacksonville. What they've done down in Jacksonville and getting Trevor Lawrence on pace, there will be another coach that I would consider.
See,
no.
So is it the quarterback they have, or is it the coach? You know, I think when you look at it,
whoever gets you to where you are, when you won 12, 11 games, I think that makes a big thing.
The Bears have turned the corner. They were a team that you never think they'd be in a situation. The Bears, the Jags, and the Patriots coming back to some type of glory.
I always feel like Coach of the Year, ideally, and we're going to go to break here, it usually goes to the guy who did more with perceived less, which is why Kevin Stefanski won it twice. Took this jalopy to the playoffs.
I mean, Flacco came in, Chubb was hurt also, and he took him to the playoffs. That was a big deal.
So they will have to decide. The voters will say
significant guy
who overachieved with this roster. Exactly. Liam Cohen, to me, might have the best shot. I don't know if he will win it. When we come back, Joel Bitonio, will he come back next year? And if he does, should he come back here? We'll talk about it next.
decisions that are made with coaching staff and all those things here will be a big factor in what you decide to do?
Yeah, it's all a factor. I think number one is my health, my family, like all that is the biggest thing. But then, yeah, coaching staff, who the players are going to be, direction of the organization, all those things are factors in your decision.
Now, who needs to deliver? Sponsored by Jets Pizza. Jets, better because it has to be.
We did this last year with Joel Bitonio. Will he stay or will he go? He decided not to retire. He came back. We'll head into the offseason with the same question this year. What do you guys think about him? And not him as a player, but him as this decision. And why in the world should he also not consider going somewhere else?
I think money will take him or keep him or force him to retire. If he's given a contract that makes sense, if he's motivated, he will. Guys walk away for different reasons, and a lot of those guys get banged up and want to kind of leave healthy. But at the same time, if someone gives him a contract, a different team, and say, hey, you got one more in you, I don't see what's wrong with. I don't see that he will turn that down.
Well, to be a guy that's at his age and not playing the same kind of football he was early in his career, and actually he's not played well this year. He had some folks come through on him, and that's because there's no one else up there to protect anybody also. So it beats you up as a player when you're the best guy on the offensive line and nobody's doing anything. And if you're going to do it last year, odds are he's going to walk away. And money might do it and money might not do it. But I tell you this, I think the guy's had enough. I think he's genuinely just said, okay, I'm not coming back here or anywhere else. I'm going to call it a career.
I think if he can go, he'll go. If he feels like he can't, like his body is fading him.
Losing makes you not want to play.
Yeah.
But if it's this weather in Cleveland and you're 3 or 4 wins, I don't want to play. But if I'm 12-3, I'm excited about playing.
Not just
it's
that.
It's hard for.
Not
winning
just
and
that.
losing makes a difference.
Sometimes it's a personal goal. It's a personal venture as well. Like when you're at the end, and sometimes you try to grasp on to the last little bit of your career, because once it's over, it's over. You're gonna have to look from the outside in.
I think that was last year. And this is what he got, 4 wins.
Yeah.
It could be. But if he feels like he can go, he will.
Well, it's who needs to deliver, and Joel Bitonio has delivered for 12 years for this team. He's been amazing. This is the unrestricted free agents, Bitonio, Joku, Teller we talked about earlier in the show. Cam Robinson's done a great job as a stopgap left tackle. Posick, Shelby Harris, Bush has played better than I thought he would when he got here. Jenkins
playing well.
Is an interesting kind of rotational type of guy, but he's probably not a have to keep.
Punter's been playing good, maybe the MVP of the team.
It's guys. Emerson, there's another guy coming off that injury, and people liked him.
You can probably get him halfway cheap because he's coming off that injury for at least another year, so he won't be himself.
Yeah, I don't think he'd get a contract. I think the market for him will be slim to none because people will need to see his rehabilitation, if he can come back and do and operate. Because remember, he was kind of fading out.
Right.
And then he got injured, trying to prove himself and get back up to the level that we all know he could be. I know he could be special, but now he has to prove it even more coming off an injury.
The thing is, since Paul DePodesta is no longer with the organization, we really never knew exactly what he did. But I got a feeling it had a lot to do with some of the players that we picked. There's going to be new folks coming around here to try to help us get a better football product out there next year. And I don't know who they want, who they don't want. But I hope we don't get in a situation where you have a general manager that sees one thing, a head coach that sees another thing, and they never come together. And then you got another 2 or 3 years of bickering and fighting in in-house situations. We got to find people that want to work together to make this football organization become better than what it is.
Got to be on the same page
Yes.
for sure. Here's a look at the opponents for next year. We do know this. We don't know the schedule yet. That'll come in like May. By the way, take notice, the Buccaneer game, yes, that's Baker Mayfield, but it is on the road. The Bake Show, not returning to Cleveland.
How many wins do you see, Josh?
2026. How many wins? That's a whole other segment,
we got to see who we have.
I got to go. We got one more to talk about. The tailgate continues. Stick around.
That's a good one.
Follow the money. Sponsored by Cardinal Credit Union.
All right, gentlemen, we hear so many things about incentives around this time of the year. Guys going for this or that to trigger extra things in their contract. There's a few of them on the screen today. We're not going to talk about these particular players. I do want to ask you guys about this. When you have incentives in your contract, especially as the year is winding down, how much is that on your mind? And how do you weigh that going into a game? Like,
I weighed it.
You might have to do a little self-sacrifice for the betterment of the team, but you need to help yourself out.
Well, for me, in the 80s, a bonus for me would be if you got a certain amount of percentage. I can't stop laughing on the inside. A certain amount of playing time, maybe a $15,000 bonus, or if you were the leading receiver on the team, or if you made the Pro Bowl, or if you boom all the way down. But all my incentives total together probably was worth $50,000 if you get that. And a lot of my money extra came from winning games and playing in the AFC Championship 3 times and 2 or 3 other wild card games. So that's how I got it. Now Josh is going to give us some enormous number, like $250,000, $1 million. See? I have the floor, Josh.
I will gladly disclose one of my bonuses that I was able to reach and tell you the situation. $1 million bonus for 40 catches. That was they thought I wasn't going to do it because I was a returner. But that money was put in my contract. My agent let me, had me come aware of it. Hey, you're 10 catches away, just to let you know. No, and I'm like, 10? I'm like, whoa, that'd be more than I had in my whole career as a returner. I wasn't the starting wide receiver. Well, the quarterback going into that game, who was a...
Give you a wink? He gave you that wink?
I gave him the wink. We had the same financial advisor. And I just called him up, let him know, hey, I need 10.
Did you give him anything of that $1 million?
He got you your 10.
Yes.
What'd you give him?
There you go.
I gave him 50.
Ain't bad.
Make that paper. That's a side
50
hustle.
for
You're
10.
going to get out of some of that.
I mean, is that not a good deal? 50,
No, that's
and
great.
I met my bonus. He had that money as soon as I'm like, get him soon as the banks open on Monday,
Right.
he had that money.
And here's the thing. It's not like that was a detriment to the team. They had about one playmaker on the team, and his name was
everything.
Josh Cribbs.
Look,
All right,
Seneca was like, Cribbs, you good? I'm like, I'm good. Let's keep it rolling, though. Let's keep it going.
We only got a couple minutes left. I wanted to ask you guys about Mason Graham. We talked so much about this rookie class. I'm getting all choked up. Sorry. It was one of those things. All this rookie talk and this great draft class, the top guy, 5th pick in the draft, Mason Graham. Nobody talks about him. Nobody remembers a favorite moment, a favorite play, a favorite anything. That's not to say he's bad. You sure can't say he's good. What do you guys think now of the draft pick, the trade, as we sit here as the first year comes to an end?
You didn't hear about him, but he was there. And the way the defense is ranked, unfortunately, we don't rank well against the run. But as a whole, as a defense, he did what he was supposed to do. And he's a rookie, and he's going to only get better. So, I mean, you can look back and see a lot of things of highs and lows about all that draft class that came in. But he was a bright spot for this organization, no question.
I agree 100%. He was opposite. He's in the middle on the same line as Myles Garrett. Myles knowingly garners all that respect from a defense. And, it was – I think his second year will tell the tale of that pick.
Yep, and Travis Hunter, we don't know how that works out either for Jacksonville. He played pretty well, and then he got hurt and was done for the year. So there's a lot of unknown out there. And there's the other shoe to drop, the Browns picking up that second first-round pick.
And didn't
as
pick
we
up
go
the
into
other
the draft
kid as well, the one that went to the DN from Penn State or Notre Dame or something like that, the Penn State, the DN, that we should have.
The Carter kid.
Yeah, Carter.
Abdul Carter, right.
Carter,
They could have. All right, Reg, you had something to say as we wind down here.
Yeah, I wanted to give blessings to the Buggs family. Coach Joseph Buggs was my high school football coach. He put over 100 kids in different scholarships, mostly HBCUs like me, small schools. But he got a lot of kids and changed the complexity of my community like you wouldn't believe it. There was only one guy in all the years of my high school that got a scholarship, and when he got there, he put over 100 of us in school. He also coached at Hampton University's track team, so he's a very respected man in the city of Smithfield, Hampton, Newport News. His wife even taught at Warwick, where Michael Vick went to school. So God
That's
bless
awesome.
Joe. Rest in peace, and thank you for all the things, because without him, I don't go to college, and I don't get to come here and hang out with wonderful Josh
That's
Cribbs
awesome.
and
That's
Mark
good
Schwab.
stuff.
Thank you, guys.
Respect.
That is awesome. Guys, that's it for a year of Tailgate. My goodness. For Josh
Go
Cribbs,
Dogs.
Reggie Langhorne, I'm Mark Schwab.